I think we're good to start, but I'm going to make a bunch of gases in chat.
Alright. Never have enough gases in chat.
There, that's the effort you get right now.
Yeah, just in case you weren't aware, it's battle time.
Welcome to episode 17 of Valenaria Chronicles. I'm your dungeon master, Joseph Dunlap. I've got with me 5 amazing role players. You will get to know who they are as we continue with this battle that we're in the middle of. I'm going to give you a brief play-by-play of what has happened so far. Between 2 different cities on the road, we encountered highwaymen demanding that they be paid for keeping the road safe. You know, the typical protection racket. And, well, now we've rolled initiative. Between that and rolling initiative, the group lured someone from this group of 4 bandits over to the back of the wagon, who then got slashed on the arm. The only other thing that happened was our druid and monk, Zira, cast a lele, making her quarterstaff have some bonuses. So first in the order at 22, Zira used Flurry of Blows and dealt 14 damage, knocking that man unconscious. Next we had Gaz, who then bluffed and drew his rapier, sneak attacked the leader and dealt 15 damage. I don't care that I misspelled it, Tristan. Then we had Mahal, the dwarf fighter, who ran into a flanking position to help out Gaz. On the bandits initiative, the leader missed Gaz completely, who is the elven rogue. Then an archer managed to shoot Mahal, the dwarf fighter, for 1 point of damage. Ouch. The burly archer next to the elf archer completely missed through his... we both spelled it wrong. Okay. He threw his weapon down and grabbed his great sword. And then on Isarel's turn, who is our half-elf ranger, she shot the elf lady for 6 damage, got her attention, and then Rook charged the archer and used smite and power attack, dealing a total of 13 damage, not knocking the elf down, but she is almost down. And that's the last thing that happened. So now, whatever, Tristan, whatever. Of course I said it wrong. Now we have Zira at the top of the initiative.
Right. There's no one nearby, right?
Yeah, currently we've got the leader 15 feet from the wagon. If you were at the back of the wagon, add 25 to that. You're 40 feet from that person. And then the other 2 are 65 feet from you.
Alright.
New subscriber!
So just gonna move 30 feet towards them.
And then, are you going to take a standard action or just another move action?
She's actually going to just stay a bit away from them. And then she's going to try to command Winter. Winter, come! And I have to make a check.
Okay, does Winter have the trick to attack or the command?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I passed the check.
Now, do you want to roll for Winter's attacks?
Yeah, she should be in range.
Okay. Winter's going to get a +2 on the flanking bonus.
Unfortunate roll. I rolled a 6 on a die. I don't think that's going to hit. So, 11.
Okay, that won't hit, but you're in position. Next, we've got Gaz.
So I know I had run up and stabbed a guy. I had gotten sneak attack. I believe that was because of a surprise.
It was because he hadn't acted yet.
He hadn't acted yet, so he was still flat-footed. So nobody is currently flanking with me?
Anyone around the leader is now getting a +2 because there are 3 people around the leader. Well, 2 people and a dog.
Oh, okay. Then I will roll to attack him with my rapier. Alright, so that was at a +2?
Yes.
So that's going to be a 23 to hit.
Oh yeah, that's going to do it.
That's going to do it. And do I get sneak attack damage?
Yeah, it's when they're denied their dexterity or when you flank your target. So yes, you do get that.
Okay. That's going to be 11 points of non-magical piercing damage.
So just with you alone, that's been 26 points of damage. Okay, next we're at Mahal.
I'm going to do a very simple turn. I'm just going to swing my axe.
That's the kind of turns I enjoy.
19.
Definitely going to hit.
10 damage.
And with that, the leader is down. Dead or unconscious, we don't know. There are 2 remaining bandits. The elf is going to disengage, which is not a 3-5 thing. I'm using a descriptive word. Going to disengage from Rook. So Rook, you can have your attack of opportunity on her.
Okay, then I shall do so. Does anyone know offhand if there's anything that limits me from power attacking on attack of opportunity?
I don't know why it would be, but I can look it up.
Well, I'll make the roll, and we can figure out if it applies after that. So if I can power attack, I will.
The feat power attack says on your action, which is not what a attack of opportunity is.
Thank you.
Okay, then. So regular attack. Here we go.
I should make Tristan the D&D judge to help me out.
I have the book open. You can ask me to look it up if you need to.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't, because I rolled very low. Let's see. 13 to hit?
That won't hit.
Okay.
So the elf flees as far from the road as she can. We still have the shirtless guy who's still up, who chucked his weapon and has a sword. He's going to close the distance with Rook and attempt to hit Rook. Yeah, that's pretty pitiful. Anyway, moving on. Next we've got Isarel. The elf woman who you shot is now sprinting as far and as quickly as she can from the road, but she's still within your range.
I was gonna say, because you said she is quote-unquote incredibly injured.
Yeah, and your range is over 100 feet.
Okay, so I'm just going to draw my longbow again and try to shoot her, somewhere, maybe like the leg. I rolled a 17.
Okay, roll damage.
7.
Okay, with the intent not to mortally wound her, then you will achieve your objective, because otherwise this would have just knocked her unconscious. She is now on the ground helpless. Next we've got Rook.
Alright, then I'll take a full power attack swing at the guy who just tried to hit me. That's a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that's going to be good enough on the shirtless man.
Alright, then let's see how I do for damage. So I got 8 on the die, I add 4 for strength, so that's 12, plus 6 for power attack, so 18, I believe.
Well then, that's a lot of damage. He's got a nice large gash across his chest. Next is Zira.
Right. She's going to move up and flank with Winter.
Okay.
And attack with Flare Blows. That's a 19 on the die. Can't remember if that's a crit with quarterstaffs.
Staff. It's just 20. Yep.
Alright, just checking.
Definite hit, though.
Yeah. That is a 9 on the damage.
That's enough to knock that man unconscious or dead?
Unconscious.
Okay. Maybe even just whack him across the head, who knows?
Yeah. Whack.
So what we have now is 4 bandits on the ground in various states of bleeding or dead, or in the case of the elf, simply helpless.
We're not gonna kill them, right? Or are we?
Is that all of the aggressors?
That was the 4.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Bree. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't feel that we should kill them.
I don't see why not. They've likely killed many before and will continue to do so if we let them.
The man who is piloting the wagon says, it'd be great to me if you got rid of them, so then I don't have to keep paying them.
Sounds like they're just causing more and more issues, so it might be best to get rid of them.
Well, I pointed the one on the ground, the helpless one, because I imagine she's still conscious.
Oh yeah, she's currently cursing in Elvish at Isarel.
Why don't we have a chat with her, shall we, since she's feeling talkative?
She directs her attention to you, expressing some opinions about whether or not you are a true elf.
I'm going to step up, as I imagine she's lying on the ground helpless. I'm going to place the end of my rapier by her throat and say, "Now, is this really the line of work you want to be remembered for?"
She's glaring at you because there's a blade at her throat.
I would like to imagine that there's any number of other things you could be doing with your life than pilfering the goods of others.
She answers you in Elvish, the essence of which is elves live long enough. This isn't going to be her legacy. This is just what she's doing right now.
I'm going to switch to Elvish. Just double check and make sure that is still one of my languages. There it is, yes. Switch to Elven. I'm going to say, just surviving and making ends meet.
She nods, still glaring at you, with fire in her eyes.
And these others, the men you're working with, friends or just happen to have the same goal right now?
You can kill them if you want to.
Have they killed?
The look she gives you is, what do you think?
Have you?
Same look.
I wanted to kind of relax back away from her a bit and look to the others. Just say, well, she says she doesn't care what we do to her friends. She's just here to make ends meet. But she's being coy about whether or not she's been letting them bleed. So I'm willing to let that go democratic-like. But I think the others probably have it coming.
Well, Israel's going to get up off the wagon, go over to the elf lady, and say, "Well, we're gonna go to the city. If you want to change your life, you can come with us."
I'm just gonna look at the cart driver, kind of go over there and go, safe and room in the cart for that.
The cart driver's response is not unlike the elf's response. He looks at you as if you're crazy for suggesting this, whereas the elf, in a similar way, looks at Isarel like she's garbage and spits at her feet.
For the record, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm looking for a defense.
For a what?
For a defense. For a reason for this to not work.
Right. Well, yeah, the cart driver is not a fan of the idea of bringing a prisoner.
Oh, well, that was rude.
It might be Isarel because you're a half-elf. She doesn't seem to like you or the other one.
No, this makes sense.
What other one?
Zira.
Ah, because she was a half-elf.
On closer inspection, Gaz, you notice that she is very probably a gray elf.
Shall I roll to know what that is, or my character knows what that is?
Yeah, go ahead and roll to see what you know about gray elves.
Alrighty.
And while you're doing that, apparently Winter has walked over and begun to pee on the woman.
Wow. Okay. With just in plus on that, that's a 13.
Okay, you're aware that, in this area, especially if you see an elven archer, they're probably just a regular old elf, which is called the High Elf. But, and it's not like there are High Elves here, but typically that's what you would think of. Gray Elves are from an entirely different region. You don't know much about where they're from, but you're pretty sure it's somewhere in the area of, bad DM, I forgot the word. But it's the kingdom that the diplomat was from. You think that maybe the Grey Elves are somewhere in that area.
Averin.
No.
Oh.
They were going to Averin. It's bad DM.
Well, if you pull up the map, we could probably tell you. I know where it is on the map, I just don't know what it's named.
Oh, I don't think Winter likes her.
I think
I can
not
see
also.
that.
Dolistad. Dolistad is where the diplomat was from. It's a kingdom somewhere on the other side of the Dwarven Mountains, and you are pretty sure you've heard of Grey Elves being in that direction. And the only other thing is that you haven't gotten a good impression of Grey Elves.
But they live just as long as High Elves and,
High Elves, Wood Elves, a few others, Wild Elves. Yeah, they all have pretty much the same lifespans, but you do note that she has a different coloration, a different pigmentation to her skin. Her hair is a shade of silver that you're not familiar with.
taking in this new information, I'd, lean back and, back toward her and say in Elven, "You're a long way from home, aren't you?"
She's currently being peed on.
Can I move the dog?
Don't worry, the
that
dog's done now. The dog is now just, kicking dirt onto her to cover her pee.
Come, Winter, come.
Okay, now we don't have to deal with that, and the elf is, no more teed off than she already was, so she will listen.
Has something driven you from your home?
She doesn't seem willing to talk.
It's interesting that you bring up how long elves live, because if you continue to play it like this, you're not going to live much longer.
I would
trying.
listen to him.
She looks directly at Gaz and thinks for a moment and then says, "If that is the way it is, then so be it."
You can't mean that. Are you saying you don't care if we kill you?
Do you speak Elvish?
Half-elves do automatically.
Yep.
Alright, just making sure. I have no clue what's going on, so I'm just over here. Just gonna think.
Again, she does not acknowledge Isarel, but she does look at Gaz like she's willing to hear what else he has to say, but she also just really doesn't care at this point.
Israel is going to just kind of look at Gaz and shrug and just walk back to the wagon.
I think before you go, I'm going to say in common, I think it's probably best for the road if the others are taken care of.
I don't like killing people.
I'm not a fan either, but...
Well, maybe the others will be more willing to do it. I can go tell them.
Alright, back to this person. I say, well, seeing as your life is in our hands now, would you mind telling me your name?
He's always doing this to me. Hold on.
What? Humanizing enemies? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Making me name them. Okay, she answers that it would probably be too difficult for you to pronounce her actual Grey Elven name, but that you can call her Yanmaris.
In Mars, if I offered you an opportunity to do something a bit different, would you be interested?
She's going to think about your question.
I'm going to find somebody in the city we're traveling to, Avrin. I'm hoping that they can teach me some things. Perhaps you can change your fortune there.
She's thinking about what you've said. Make a diplomacy check to make her more talkative.
I got a 5.
Then her response is that since she is your prisoner, meaning the group of you, that she is compelled to go wherever you would make her go. But she does add, as soon as she's able, she will escape.
I nod, and with my sword still drawn, I'm going to turn toward the group and say, I think bandits are still just bandits today, people.
If you say so. I don't know what's been said, but if she's shown no remorse, then I see no reason to prolong her sentencing. I doubt the city would give her much of a different take. Just delay the inevitable.
If that's the case, can the rest of you take care of it?
I can do it.
I don't like it.
Yeah, me neither. I'm fine with bunking them on the head, though.
Problem is that once they rouse out from that, they're just gonna go back to hurting folk and stealing.
This would be a good time to go ahead and make spot checks about the overall health of the other three.
I rolled a 16.
I rolled a 1.
I got a whopping 9.
12.
22.
Okay, it's very likely that 2 of them are just going to bleed out soon, or are straight up already dead. And then the one who got bonked on the head is unconscious and with medical attention could probably recover, but he did get a slosh across the chest.
Oh, 2 of them are looking like they're... they might be dead, or they're dying. This one's fine, though, if we help.
Is there anything we can do to ease these other two's pain as they pass?
I mean, they're unconscious. They're not feeling anything.
Oh, good.
They chose their fate. It just happened to be us.
Isarel, Isarel, since you are interested in this topic, I will say that upon a second look, you'll see, since you also rolled high, you'll see that the one in the back of the wagon is no more. That flurry of blows was effective.
Well, I suppose we should clean out the wagon. He doesn't seem to be with us anymore.
Right, I hit pretty hard.
Indeed.
The elf calls to Gaz in Elvish and says, "Are you leaving me here, or..." Because remember, she's pretty grievously wounded.
If you don't want to end up a corpse like your friends, then I suggest you beg this man to take you to Avrin.
Okay, diplomacy.
There's a different die. Slightly better. Got a 12.
Okay, rolls guy, Tristan. Look up diplomacy for me real quick. Give me some DCs here. You're not even trying to change her attitude, you're trying to compel her.
Yep. Here we go. Cipher, diplomacy. So use the skill to persuade check. You can change the attitude of others, changing others' attitude with diplomacy. Trying again, special. Energy. If you have 5 or more ranks in bluff, you get a +2 on diplomacy. Oh, I didn't even remember that. I actually got 14. Because I have synergies. I forgot about synergies.
He's got synergy energy.
Yeah, but in any event, let's see. Usually don't work. Even the initial diplomacy check succeeds. Other characters can be persuaded only so far. The initial check fails. Other character has probably become more firmly committed to their position, and a retry is futile.
Quick question. Didn't you say you had to have 5 ranks?
Yeah.
And you can't... Oh, wait. No, it's not.
I can't
4.
have... It's 3 plus your level.
Yeah, I forgot it's 3+ level.
I
Sorry.
have some at 6 ranks right now.
Right.
One
I
of
had
those.
the calculation in my head a little off. My bad.
Okay, Tristan, what is the DC for improving her attitude if that had been the goal?
Alrighty. Let's see. Changing others' attitude generally takes about a minute.
There's a chart.
Yeah, I know. There is. And it's not here. So I'm trying to remember where it is. Because it's not under the skill, which is, where you'd expect it to be. So where has it gone? I know that there's a chart. I pulled it up last time. Check here.
The chart's on the next page.
What is that? I looked on the next page. I didn't see it.
72?
Huh. Wow. Okay, I just hadn't scrolled down far enough. I scrolled down and saw the disabled device chart, and as far as I went. Okay, so if she's hostile and we want to make her at least indifferent, the DC is 25. And even to get her to unfriendly, it's 20. So a 14 is too low.
Okay, so she says, not only is she not able to communicate with the wagon driver because she doubts that he speaks Elven, she also does not want to beg.
I don't know about you guys, but if we have to do this, can we just get it over with?
Well, I imagine that's what we're finding out. If we have to do this.
Gaz?
Gaz looks incredibly pained. The wagon driver.
Yeah, Bardell?
Yeah, Bardell. Most of the crew is dead, and they're certainly shattered. But I've an inkling that there's a future for this last. I want to take them with us.
Okay, use that diplomacy again.
Ready? Yeah, now it comes out when I want to, influence somebody who is not hostile toward me. I got a 20.
You're like, can we switch those?
Right?
With the 20, you've convinced him that this is something that's worth his time, and he's not even going to charge you extra for it.
I'm gonna point to Zira and Israel and say, you want to help me in the back with her? She's gonna need tendon.
Let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
You've got killing to do.
I believe Mahal's the one who signed up for that.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Mahal's already taken care of that.
Yeah.
I can try to heal.
Yeah, I can heal too.
Then, why don't we go to her and, get 3 people to lift her to the wagon?
So just gonna walk up to her and cast Cure Light Wounds. She regains 4 hit points.
Okay, that's going to take care of a little bit of the damage that's been dealt to her. Currently, she's bleeding on her side and has an arrow stuck in her leg, but you can move her at this point.
We'll continue to tend her in the wagon once she's there.
Before we move her, I would want to try and remove that arrow so it hopefully doesn't do more damage while we try and move her.
Okay, how many ranks do you have in heal?
I have a few. I have 3.
Okay, that's good enough.
Okay. Like good enough to roll or good enough just as is?
You're proficient, basically. So I'm not going to be worried that you're going to do something wrong with that. Or really just trained in heal altogether would be enough. Okay, let's say she's in the wagon now.
Mm-hmm.
And we can continue with the journey. If anyone else wants to use a healing ability or spell, just let me know how much she's gained. And just let me know when that happens.
I would like
so
to.
just gonna use another one.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Another 5.
Okay, and then Bree, were you going to use the heal skill?
Yes.
Okay.
That is an 11.
Okay. I believe the DC is 15 for bleeding, but let me look up long-term care. Okay, it's also 15 for long-term care, but you tried. You gave her some bandages and herbs or something.
Okay.
Say it over in Elven. It would have been much easier to leave you dead on the roadside.
She
So I
nods as though she understands.
You're going to accompany me to my contact in Havrin. These are the conditions under which you live.
Was there a list of conditions?
That she is going to accompany me to my contact in Havrin, that she understands that we are in fact doing this out of the goodness of our heart.
Okay, I got confused because you said these are the conditions, and I was listening for these are the conditions. Condition 1. Okay.
Condition 1, you will not harm or steal from the man who is transporting us or any of the people here. You will travel without question to where you are told to go, and you will do your best to find a new profession with the people we are going to speak with in Avern.
Okay. The situation is such that rather than a diplomacy check, your control over her is simply that she's a prisoner. So we can continue with the story.
Sarah would like to try to treat her wounds, not with magic, but with a heal check.
Okay.
I'm curious if Mahal took anything from the bodies.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
There was leather armor, 2 battle axes, and a barely working crossbow, plus the bow that the elf had with a quiver.
I would have grabbed one of the battle axes.
Okay.
And I would have told the others about everything else in case they wanted something.
I rolled a 5, so 12.
Okay, so you and Isarel have done your best to do some sort of bandage job. Fortunately, healing for any amount of hit points does fix the bleeding, so that's good. So, moving on, it's not that long. Let's see here, map. If I recall, this was, I don't remember exactly if it was the first or second day, but I think it was the first day of travel. So that means that either you're going to set up camp as close to Santa as possible on day 2, or you are going to convince the wagon driver to head for the farming settlement that you see on your map. If you recall, he was pushing for trying to get to Santa in the afternoon so he can do some business and head to Avern on the same day and get about halfway. Unless you really wanted to try checking out the farming settlement.
I don't know that any of us had a reason to go to the farming settlement. Anyway?
No?
Okay. Now, I'm going to say there's nothing of note planned between here and Santa unless there are interactions you want to have either with the wagon driver, his daughter who's very upset at you, or the elf who's also very upset at you.
What did we do to the daughter?
You have a prisoner. It's an elf that shot at you, and now you're letting her live.
Then yeah, I think we should probably interact with that daughter.
Okay, Karina. Remember, she's the one who's been scouting a lot, but she was nearby and just felt like you didn't need her help. And she's just getting huffy at you. She's not talking to anyone. She's just choosing not to interact with any of you. And we can even say that the reason for talking to her is she says something more or less uncool about the elf woman.
Mm-hmm. I can speak with her unless somebody else would prefer to do the talking.
She doesn't seem to like me.
I can try.
Good luck.
And so, what was it exactly she said to spark this? Sorry, I was trying to write something.
We can say that more or less she says something along the lines of, now we're picking up trash off the side of the road.
Only that which has a chance to be redeemed. As you may recall, most of it was left where it was.
She's getting ready to snort in amusement to what you said, although she does agree it's very important that you put your blade into anyone who would bother them on the road.
It is my companion's best assessment that there's still good that can come from her, and I know she's not doing this out of pure malice.
No, she just wants money. My money, specifically.
Well, that last part's not exactly true. She wants money, yes. Does she want yours specifically? No, you're who happened to be here.
Okay, that's fair. Still, it would have been my money.
Indeed. And as per our deal, we made sure you kept it. And should she be trying to take yours or anyone else's funds? Most likely not. But some people aren't given a choice. Until we know her story, we're not exactly in the best place to judge.
Would you like to make a diplomacy roll? You do not have to.
Sure. 17.
Okay. She cedes the point that, in this specific case, maybe you're right. She's just not happy about it.
I can understand your discontentment, and we will try to remove her from your presence as soon as we can. And should things go wrong, we will do what we can to make them go right.
Or I could if you needed me to.
But for the time being, this is how things are.
Okay, I'll stop making comments, but I don't have to like it.
Agreed.
She continues with her scouting and no more snide comments.
Alright, and I'm going to finish writing a note that I want to pass to Gaz for him to translate to the captive.
What do you want to say?
I'm not quite sure yet, which is why I'm writing a note.
Okay. You know, if you want to change hearts, people, you have to argue to their sensibilities.
At the moment, I'm not trying to change hearts. I'm simply trying to get her and not make things worse.
But she's going to arrive at her destination still wishing that we'd killed one more person.
Well, there's still time.
There's enough danger in the world without wishing everyone dead.
Indeed.
In any event,
Anything more for this scene? Sorry.
check in on our prisoner, make sure that her wounds are, well enough treated for the time being and that she's had water.
It looks like an effort was put in, and I'm going to assume, yes, she has gotten water since the druid was tending to her.
Okay.
Sarah doesn't have great water prepared for the moment.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I'll leave that up to Gaz.
Yeah, I would like her to be given water.
Okay, it one way or another, it will now happen. So then we set up camp. It's the next day. Everyone gains a hit point, three hit points.
Mm.
I think only one person took damage.
Yes, I did not.
Oh, it was Mahal, and he took 1 point. So, heal check. If anyone wants to make a heal check or use a spell or something.
I would have, at the end, near the end of the day, before I went to rest, I would have used my lay on hands to fix up my wounds from previous encounters.
Okay. Where does that put you?
It puts me at 28, and then plus 3 from the rest.
Okay, and then Zira?
Sarah got a 17 on her heal check, so she's trying to provide a long-term care.
That's good long-term care.
So, anybody want to heal me?
You heal by sleeping.
Wait, you're hurt?
You know, I forgot about that. Yeah, I took 1 bit of damage.
I will say that the long-term care that was given will then double the hit points she gains to in the morning for the next day. But we're on day 2 of travel. I'm not going to adjust the calendar because we're not going to go too terribly long. Is there anything that we want to do between here and Santa? We're going to get to Santa by the afternoon.
I think that if no one else has anything, that Gaz is just going to wax poetic and Elvish, speaking at the prisoner.
I'm intrigued, Tristan.
Regardless of, how she seems to be taking conversation, he would sit nearby and be saying in Elvish, low, so as not to just be announcing to everybody, but to her, saying, I'm not sure what brought you to this crossroads. I don't want to make assumptions about your life, but it might help you to know that there was a point for me that was not so different. I never chose to harm anyone physically during those times. I would not have killed. And you haven't answered directly, so I can only hope that you didn't. But I do understand how difficult it is to make it, especially in this part of the world. We take on these jobs for the pay. We have the skills, so we use them. I understand that. And that is why I'm taking you to someone who appreciates the skills, some of which you clearly already have, so that you can use them and not be harming people directly. Does not say that thievery and stealing don't have the harms of their own, but taking life is where I draw the line.
Make a diplomacy check at a +2.
Okay, at a +2 makes that a 21.
Okay, you're getting her to open up, but her opening up is in Elvish, once again, telling you that you can't possibly know what she's been through.
As I said, I don't know what you've been through. You could tell me if you wanted.
How close am I? Am I overhearing any of this at all?
I imagine pretty much everyone wants to ride in the wagon, unless someone just feels like taking a walk.
Yeah, no. Okay, so I'm going to, depending on where I am, I'll turn and look at Gaz and give him a thumbs up, it seems to be working.
I don't know what's being said, but I'm still gonna just shake my head at that name.
Nod and shake your head?
Yeah.
I get a
No.
yes,
Ian
no.
Morris.
No, I said I'm gonna shake my head.
I feel like the two fighting types are just I don't know, accepting the fact the next 2 or more days are going to be filled with people talking in Elvish around them?
I was about to say, I'm just that Naruto meme right now. I don't know what's going on, but I sure act like I will. I do.
Sounds like he's saying something serious. I should nod. Tristan, I will send you some background on Yanmaris that she opens up with you about, or I might just send it to the group chat later, but I will say that she opens up a little bit over the course of the journey.
Okay.
So,
at some point, there's one last thing I would add on, even if not now, later in the journey, and just hold up this scrap of paper and say, the big guy over there wanted to relate his story to you as well.
Is that what's on the paper?
What's on the paper is that even someone, as upstanding looking as him knows what it is to fight from a low position for what you want, for what you need. He wanted to relate that, and that he would be willing to give you any guidance you wanted if you wanted to choose a path beneath his god cord. Now, that's an invitation. Do with it as you will.
Okay, she takes it and she reads it. Does not
Well,
react.
She
She
can't.
has
It's
it.
in common. I don't speak
It's
Elvish,
in
otherwise I'd say
common.
directly.
I translated it by speaking
Okay.
to her.
Okay, so she doesn't have any use for the parchment itself.
No, I just showed it to her to show her that I was reading a note.
Okay, and I guess she's curious who that's from, unless she saw the note get handed.
I mean, she would have likely seen it get handed, and he did point out, it's from the big guy.
Okay, she glances at the big guy while hearing this, and then overall doesn't really have a response. I'm not saying it's one of those she doesn't care. She just doesn't know what to say.
Mm-hmm. And my character's never prodding her for responses. Just putting things out there and letting her do as she will.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then by afternoon we arrive in Center. So for a recap of anyone who has either forgotten or never got to hear these sessions involving Bree's character and Alex's character in their adventures in Center, we've the known NPCs in Center are Wilson and wife. He's a Fletcher, and his wife is a how should we put it, Bree? Very in-your-face shopkeeper.
Yeah, that's good.
And then Bardell and Karina, who are escorting you, were last seen in Center, and they were working as hunters. Now they're working as merchants. And then Tharson, who is a hunter who did not realize that you could do more than just take antlers off your kills. When he was last seen was between Center and Gamut a while ago, being trained by Isarel and Kador in making jerky and tanning hides. So no guarantee he's in Center, but that's where we are now. Center, for those who don't know, is a walled city, and you have to check in your weapons with one of the deputy offices.
It's too bad they've decided to go and make that plural, because I have 2 great swords. I could just give them the crappy one.
They needs all of them.
Yeah.
Starting fights is looked down upon, but starting a fight with a weapon is going to be harshly dealt with.
Yeah, it's not really worth it.
Says you. I feel kind of naked without my weapon. It's,
Wait.
part of it.
We have to give all of our weapons?
Yeah, we went over this. I mean, I suppose we can talk about this in the wagon on the way there. You could try and hide some if you wish, but mine are a bit too large for that.
Mahal's gonna turn to Zira and go, "Do you think they'll count your hands as weapon? Because they seem to be kind of deadly sometimes."
I hope not. But are they going to cut them off? And then retouch them with magic? Is that a thing?
I have no idea, and I certainly hope not. This is a recall from our first sparring match. We were fairly on par.
Yeah, but you have a big obvious weapon, so they're probably not going to look at your hands.
I don't think we want to start things off in this town by making enemies of the guard or the people that live there, just in case we need to come back.
Indeed. I certainly don't intend to make trouble.
Well, then there shouldn't be any problem giving them up.
There is a likelihood that Gaz has been to Center, even though he has not been to Avaran, just since it's a neighboring town.
Alrighty. So there might be people I know here.
You could have a contact or two. So, we are in Center. We are at the deputy's office checking in weapons, yes?
Yeah, just making sure that they got names on them so we can get them back.
Yes, they are very well cataloged. Isarel can attest. You can attest if you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with
They
you.
got a good system.
So-
All right, here I have 15 shurikens. I have 10 darts. Oh, and quarterstaff. Here.
Okay, who's next in line?
Mahal walks up and sadly hands them both of his axes.
He looks you up and down to see if the various chains on you are weapons or just decoration.
Very much just decoration. I couldn't use them in a fight.
He nods, points at your mohawk jokingly.
Touch that and there might be a little bit of issues.
Fair
Oh,
enough. All right, next.
I'm gonna step up and say, "Hi, do you remember me?"
He's thinking for a second and says, "No, I don't think so."
Oh, well, I've been here before. It was just one time, but I just thought I'd ask. Anyway, I have my longbow and these two. I've got my kukri and my scimitar here. Please make sure those are labeled.
Okay, and the way they label it is you write your name on the label.
Nifty.
So who's next?
I'll step up next. Hand over Greatsword 1, hand over Greatsword 2, and a short bow.
Remind me why exactly you carry two of them,
Because I bought a new one that was better. And
and then did not sell the old one that wasn't needed anymore.
he didn't want it at the time. So
Yeah,
maybe I
said
can
that-
sell it here.
I mean, it's also a backup.
It's gonna be hard to sell from lockup.
Fair enough. Maybe in the next town.
Okay, guys, check them in. Check in the weapons.
Steps up, pulling the rapier in its sheath from his belt, and then unslinging his quiver of arrows, and finally handing over the unstrung longbow.
Oh, would they need arrows too, I assume?
Yes.
Alright, I would have entered my arrows as well. I forgot about those.
Yeah, I was assuming that you had done that.
Yeah, assume I did that as well.
Well, with that, they say, "Welcome to Santer. You may return at any time to receive these and escorted to the gates."
Good. Now then, our ride's gonna be conducting business for a while this afternoon, and then we'll be on our way again. What happens with our prisoner?
Do you want to chip away at her exterior again?
I think it would do us good in the long run.
Well, I'd be willing to help keep an eye on her, so pretty much wherever she goes, I go.
Yeah, I think we could do it in the form of a walk. I'm not gonna use any bindings.
Okay. Well, she's going to follow you because she knows better, looking over at Rook. What I'll do basically is I'll give each character one task they can carry out before it's time to leave.
What? Wait, one task before what?
Before we leave Santer.
Okay.
Sorry.
She's gonna just walk here around in the town with Winter because Winter's curious.
Okay, Winter's going to love every second of it.
So I have Fletcher training as a craft, and I think it'd be interesting to go visit the Fletcher again and see if there's anything new I could learn.
Okay, so you'll spend the afternoon attempting to let Wilson take you in as a momentary apprentice?
Yeah, and I can, if he hadn't heard of our good deeds by now, then I will regale the story. Hopefully that convinces him to let me hang around for a little bit.
Okay, make a low difficulty diplomacy.
Do I just roll diplomacy then?
Yeah, but the DC's going to be low.
Okay, I rolled a 13, and then I have a +2 in that.
Okay. You spend the better part of the afternoon till you are collected, helping him out as best you can, and talking his ear off about all the good deeds that you've done. I will give you, for the next 2 sessions, a +1 on craft.
Awesome.
Okay, Rook and Gaz, I know you were escorting your charge around the city, so, and then Zira, you were walking around with the dog. What about Mahal?
Mahal's just gonna kind of sightsee around the city, still not fully used to human cities.
Okay, so everyone takes walks except for Isarel, and then before you know it, Bardell and Karina are ready to go again. I'm going to roll a percentile real quick for no reason. Okay, and now we are off on our way to Averin. Something I should note here is that there is a river running from a lake in the Great Forest, which only denizens of it know where it is, running through Santer, through Averin towards Fairport. So you'll be following along the river now. There's a nice, well-traveled road between the two cities. Also, occasionally, as you're traveling, you take note that maybe twice a day, a boat will pass you, going between the two cities. Anything else before you set up camp?
Nope.
Okay, you set up camp, and then the next day, more hit points are gained. Long-term care pays its dividend. For now, don't worry about rations or anything. And then we are heading towards Averin. Is there anything before we get there? Gaz, I'm going to assume that the lectures have continued.
Yes, I would be continuing to speak with her, and just if she wants to talk, she could talk. Otherwise, she's just going to get an earful.
Any notes from Rook? Okay, so we're heading into Averin. Let's get a description of Averin real quick before I show you the picture I finally settled on today. Averin is a large walled city. The walls of Averin are different from those of Santer and Gamut. They're mostly stone. They are kind of old, at least a few hundred years. It's just a different architecture style than what you've seen elsewhere. It is centered on a river. It seems like either a giant trapezoid of some kind or a giant circle of some kind, where you can see to the north is some taller buildings, religious buildings, churches, government buildings, that sort of thing. And then south of the river, you can see that's where most of the people live. There's the picture I settled on for Averin. It is a very lively and hop-in commerce center of the region. There's no fun facts I can really give you that you're not just going to find out as you are interacting in Averin for the next few sessions, most likely. But it seems to be a nice change of pace from what you've been seeing before. It's a very old city, buildings everywhere. The river is a very hop-in place, but there's also a major commerce road that you're going to come in on. Fortunately, you do not have to check in your weapons when you come in. Now, this is where you were asking Bardell to take you. So once he comes into the city and gets past the gate and tells the guards his business, he's ready to part ways with you and your charge.
Okay. Then he's already been paid, yes?
I believe you paid him before the journey started. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, and if it's not correct, I'm sure that we already deducted it, and so this would just be the, handing him the other half or whatever.
Right, and I'm still editing the previous session. I'll let you know if that's not the case.
Okay. So we'd make sure that we're squared, and, I would have the charge next to me and just say, hopefully the road back will be much easier than the road up, and it'll stay that way a while. I want to thank you for bringing us along and for putting up with this, our decision.
She grunts in acknowledgement.
Oh, I thought I was talking to Bardell, but if it's her, Karina...
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't catch who you were talking to. I was looking at something. The elf thinks you're talking to her. And no, Bardell nods. He says, perhaps we'll do business again, especially if you plan on killing more bandits.
Yeah, we'd like to keep the roads safe for travel as best we can. Anyway, we've all got business to attend to, so safe travels here out, Bardell, Karina.
Karina is already off doing her own thing, but Bardell waves, smiles at you, and says, safe travels.
Good luck on the road.
He continues into the city to do his business.
Now then, as for us, we're trying to find out exactly where this diplomat was supposed to be going, and perhaps we'll finish that job for him, let them know what's happened back in Trapper's camp, as that was
Where I found the bits and pieces.
And then the other thing we've got to do here is we're looking for specialists to give us a bit of instruction on the next leg of our development.
And don't forget, we also need to see if they have any of those special weapons I saw back in Oasis, in case we want to deal with that other problem down the road.
Indeed. Anything we can gather that would help us on jobs we are able to foresee, and anything that you think would be helpful on jobs that we can't yet foresee. That's what I'd like to be looking into. As it were, I think I'd like to try my hand at seeing this one off before we go and deal with that diplomat bit, if there are no objections.
Oh, okay, so I want armor for winter. Where do I get that?
Well, there are smiths all over a city this large, so I would just walk into any metalworker you find and ask if they're willing to do it and what price. And if not, go to the next.
All right.
I'm sorry if you wanted more specific than that. I've not been to Averin myself.
Yeah, this city is really big.
I presume that each one of you has some sort of business that you'll need to do that requires you to have some sort of idea of where things are. So if that's the case, make some sort of, probably a search check or perhaps survival.
And gather information.
Also viable.
Mm.
So let's see. It was search, gather information, or survival, correct?
Yes.
Let's see.
19 on survival.
No points. No points. And no points. Okay, well, that's fun.
I got an 18 on gather information.
As did I.
Nice.
I'm not going to mention what I got.
0, was that a 19 you got?
Yeah.
And then Mahal, what are you going to try?
All the drugs.
I mean, maybe.
Sorry, could you repeat what we're doing again? It's been a long day, so I just kind of zoned out. Sorry.
No, you're fine. In order to get the lay of the land in this giant city, you're going to need to make a survival check not to get lost and to find things, or a search check to find things, or gather information to get someone to tell you.
I will roll for search.
Sure.
Does a 1 get me anything?
It gets you into the chat box. And then Israel, can I know your roll?
Yeah, I got a 4.
And what were you rolling?
I was doing gather information. I probably should have done one of the other ones.
And then were you doing gather information by yourself, or were the three of you doing it together?
I mean, I was going to do it by myself just because I don't want to compromise my specialist.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go down the list here. Lowest roll first. Mahal, you did search to find something, anything, I'm sure. Well, with a 1, you accidentally found a tavern.
It's a win.
Yeah. And that's where you are. That's all you got to do. Israel tried to gather information and just didn't manage to connect with anyone, try and get anyone's interest. So that was the afternoon for Israel. Next we've got Rook. You did gather information to get an idea of where things are. What were you hoping to find?
Yeah, I'd probably be looking for either the local Temple of Cord and or any place that might sell magic weapons.
Okay, let's do the Temple of Cord thing first. You get someone who's willing to help you out, and you ask where the Temple of Cord is. They point north. They say, "Oh yeah, that's over the river. That's over in the religious district."
All right, thank you for the information. And I'll start heading that way.
Did you plan on doing the rest of that afterwards, or did you want to do that on the way?
I would take the things like just basically one at a time, doing whichever I found first.
Okay, and then I'll catch the second half of your thing after I take care of everyone else, but let's get you to the religious district. The city is basically quartered, so north of the river, the houses are much nicer, and then further north of that, the walls of the city sort of close in a bit. You get the religious district, or quarter, and then north of that is the government buildings. So these are very tall buildings. Most of the churches have their own campuses, if you will, especially like Paylor has an entire, what looks like a college of some kind. So you find a large cathedral of Cord, as well as behind it what looks like a bunch of sparring grounds or something like that.
All right. So are you looking for me to do more here before you move on to the next people, or?
I'm willing to.
Right, just making sure. So then I would go in and try and see if I could find a, paladin or cleric and ask them some questions.
Tristan, can you get the music going again?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry it wasn't looping, apparently, or it stopped.
Okay, you're hoping to find a paladin or cleric of Cord, you said?
Yep.
Okay, walking up, the doors are wide open. There is a bunch of hustle and bustle across, it's not really a campus, but the property. So the first person who bumps into you is a heavily armored fellow with a tabard. A very nice decal on the tabard, or embroidery even, of the Fist of Cord.
All right.
He turns to you and says, "Yes, what can I do for you, young man?"
I'm here looking to receive some guidance on my path as a paladin of Cord.
Oh, yes. He looks you over for a second, acknowledges your armor, and you have a tabard, right?
The tabard was only for, I believe, was only for like the festival stuff. I don't remember if it was the symbol of court or not, but I do have a holy symbol, which I'd be wearing on the outside of my armor at the moment.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. The holy symbol, and then you were wanting to get some stuff done with your weapon that you hadn't done yet.
Yeah, weapon and armor and
Okay.
stuff, because it was going to take too much time.
He looks over your armor and your holy symbol, and your weapon, and he nods in acknowledgement and respect. He says, "So you're a follower of Cord, are you?"
I certainly try.
The large bearded man appears to be human like you. Huge arms. He's clearly one of the higher level paladins of this campus. He says, "Well, how long are you going to be in Averin?"
I expect at least a few days.
Very well, let me show you around. So he's going to take you into the church building, which is more of a temple, and then across the campus, and you're just going to get a lay of what they do here, what it's like to be a follower of Cord here in Averin. Now I'm going to move on.
All right.
We've got Zira, a 19 on survival to just find stuff.
Yeah.
You're wanting to get armor for the dog, so very quickly you manage to suss out the layout of the city. South of the river, you're on a huge commerce street, and basically there are different offshoots from that road that are for different guilds. And I'm talking like medieval guilds for the things that you make. So it doesn't take you long to find Smith Street. Maybe an hour tops, just because it's a large city. And then when you are on Smith Street, you can just go to do door-to-door if you want, or you can use some spot checks to see if you can find maybe a sign that shows that one is an armor smith, because it is a mix of different kinds of smiths.
22 on spot.
Okay. You find the area that is primarily armor smiths, so picking what you believe to be the best one, you walk in. There is a large selection of different types of armors and shields and gauntlets and things. And there is an elven man standing at the desk.
Hi there.
Why, hello there.
Winter needs armor.
Do you indicate Winter when you say that?
Yeah.
Okay, he turns and looks at Winter and says, "Oh, does she now?"
Yes.
Yes, and that happens to be something that I have done in the past. What is your budget? What are you hoping to spend here? What kind of armor do you want?
I was thinking like leather or something. I don't know. I have gold, or well, you call it gold. I have lots of suns.
Suns will do. Suns will do. How many suns are you willing to spend on this?
How much do I have? I think I have like 300.
Well, goodness. I think for 50 I can probably put something together for you out of leather.
Make it like extra special.
He leans forward and says, "Are you sure leather's as far as you want to go? She's a very tough girl."
Yeah, I think there was something natural.
Very well. If you throw in another 10, I can put some embroidery on there. It just depends on how long you have.
I think we're going to be here a few days.
Okay, I will see what I can do. So,
Basically,
60
she
gold?
wants masterwork. I'm reading on the prices. Masterworks add another 150 to the costs.
Well, we'll say for dog armor, it's not going to be quite nearly as much.
It's an extra 25 gold for non-humanoids, so it will be 200 total, I think.
If you want it masterwork, then yes.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with the armor check penalty.
And that will also mean that the armor check penalty is reduced. That's important. So basically what he's saying is he's going to get as much as he can get done each day. So then if you suddenly have to leave town, you can just pay and get what it is that he was able to do.
Okay.
But the longer you give him, the better it will be.
Yeah.
So
then
he hands you his...
the 200 gold.
Okay. He hands you essentially his card, a small piece of parchment that reminds you of which shop it is that he's in. And then we're moving on to Gaz. You were doing gather information, but you said you did it by yourself for a reason.
Yes, because I am specifically looking for anything that would qualify as a Thieves Guild type organization.
Okay, gather information. Give me a hint about the approach you'll be taking with the gather information.
I'm looking for any kind of special markings on buildings, especially in shop windows and the like, that would be used to indicate to local cut purses and thieves safe havens or fences. I'm, listening as I walk past the taverns and stores to see if anybody's using any kind of recognizable code words, and looking for, seeing if dropping a code word casually in any of these places gets me a reaction from anyone.
Okay. For gather information, there will be some amount of talking that you'll need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You can do some spot checks for checking out windows and the like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can be as direct as, I'm a traveler, and if there's any guards patrolling, just ask as a person who's never been here, how safe I am walking the streets to see if they, share more than is necessary about, cut purse problems.
Okay. Sounds like we want to two spot checks, a listen check, and then I'll go with the gather information as well.
Okay. Spot checks got me +5, 18, and 23. The listen check is going to be also +5, so 14. And then
and you got an 18 on gather information.
I got an 18 on gather information, so 18, 23 on spot, 14 on listen. I forgot what the last one was.
Gather information was 18.
Oh, it was 18. Okay, yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
Not bad, actually, all around.
So with the spot checks, you don't believe that as you're walking through the commercial area of Averin that there are shops that have any distinguishing discrete markings on their windows or anything like that. The listen was a 14.
Mm-hmm.
That's a difficult one. I'll get back to that one. Then gather information, you were just, covertly just striking up conversations to see if anyone gave anything away or what?
Effectively, yes. Basically, as a person who's never been here, asking directions, asking for where I could find this or that, and then during those conversations, be slipping in, anything that would be considered might be considered a common code phrase for thieves operating in a city.
Okay.
Operated gamut for 30
I'll do
years.
you one better. I'll do you one better because a lot of gather information involves greasing fingers or wetting throats. So you find a tavern that has some very friendly people, one of whom ends up quite talkative with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming you have your charge with you.
I do.
Okay. So the two of you, and he just believes that you're friends. He, during a conversation that doesn't really go anywhere, he does let off the idea that he kind of is aware that there's some sort of rogues guild or thieves guild here.
Okay.
And he believes they tend to be south of the river. He's not sure exactly where, but he knows that they don't frequent the commercial area, at least not out in the open. Mm-hmm. But he's aware that they probably have some sort of headquarters even further south.
Okay, I would let him know, slyly that I'd be willing to pay to make sure that I got good information and not the kind of information that's going to get me strung up.
He does not want to take your money. He says, no. I don't know enough to warrant you paying me that unless you really want to, that is. And he's looking at the money in your hand.
I'm going to give him 1 gold piece.
Oh, thank you so much for the sun. I will look you up if I hear anything else, because I'm sure there's more where that came from, and he winks at you.
Hopefully it will not be very easy to find me. I'm going to go and follow up the lead he's given me.
And this whole time, your Elvish charge, Yen Maris, is just silently judging you the whole time. And also all your conversations have been in common, so...
Yes, but I would not be keeping her in the dark when we're walking and there isn't somebody else I need to speak to. I'd be letting her know in Elvish what I'm doing and why.
She does throw in Elvish, of course. So you're set on this idea. You're going to have me join a rogues guild with you. Is that what we're doing?
I think that performing these acts in this city will give you the means to live without taking life from others. And that's important to me.
I see. On the one hand, highway work does involve having to protect oneself, and on the other, I can be a cut purse.
Yeah, well, while neither is glamorous or great, at least cut purses aren't usually in the business of killing people.
As far as you know.
I am confident that if they accept you into their rank, they will subject you to their rules and the punishments of breaking them.
So what if I say no to joining?
Well, I can't stop you, and I've done what I can to try and help you.
I don't imagine there's much welcome left for me out on the road either.
I don't know, and it's not my problem. If you don't accept their offer, should they make one, we part ways.
Fair
And
enough.
hopefully we don't cross paths again.
Agreed. So at some point, the group needs to have some sort of location to converge, correct? I hope?
We can find that tavern the dwarf is in.
I mean, it was right near the gate. He made it 10 feet.
I feel...
Like, do. Oh, look, beer.
I'll assume too, because I was disappointed I didn't have much luck, like learning anything, making new friends, that I'm just gonna go back to the tavern because I saw him go in there and I'm like, at least one of my friends is there.
I imagine he rolled so low that it was so quick that he walked in that everyone saw it.
Just one of those, somebody has their priorities straight.
Okay, so eventually everyone's spending their evening here, and they do have rooms if you want to spend some coin on rooms. Tristan, it'll be the not the high-end accommodations on the prices.
Okay. You want me looking that up? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, you're my rules guru.
Okay. Let's see here. That should be...
And then if you want to do any RP before you go in the night, then you can do that. The way that I do tavern nights is one of two things. How do you want to feel when you're done, or how much do you want to spend? Or you can get specific about what you're wanting to ask for, like Dwarven Ale.
I'm pretty sure my character's only really done just basic ales. I think it'd be fun for her to try something like a wine or a mulled wine or mead or something like that.
I will say that you spend quite a bit of time alone with Mahal, so there's a chance that he might have recommendations for you as well.
Yeah, Mahal is just going to order himself some dwarven ale.
Okay, as you are digging into your second ale, because it's only been 5 minutes, so you're only getting started, Isarel walks into the tavern, somewhat disappointed and kind of down in the dumps.
She's gonna just sit down next to him and sigh.
Have a drink. They make all disappointments in life better.
What is this?
It's a dwarven ale. Probably can't find much stronger in a city.
Well, let's try it.
Okay, make a constitution check, not Mahal. So, Isarel.
So I rolled a 4.
Yeah, he's telling you the truth when he says that's the strongest thing in Averin. He must have been here or something, because this is probably the strongest thing in the world. Mahal, you might even feel a little concerned for her right now.
I'm gonna motion for the barkeep to bring her some water, and also tell him not to give her any more for the night.
The bartender turns and says, yes, water, and no more dwarven ale, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay, what'll it be, miss? And he puts a large pitcher of water in front of Isarel.
It's really good, but he is right. I probably shouldn't have more.
Okay, I'll close out your tab. After you two spend some time hanging out, everyone else slowly filters in from having walked across the city. Rook, I will cover you were looking for something regarding your armor, right?
Not at this exact moment.
Well, you had something else you were doing with your gather information I wanted to take care of out of game.
I was also looking to see if there are any places where one might be able to inquire about magic items.
Yeah, okay, I will take care of that for you between games, so then I will update everyone on the results of that next time. And was there anything else anyone else was doing? Gaz, I don't think you would have time as it gets nighttime to start strolling around streets that you suspect might be where the Rogues Guild is. Not unless that's what you wanted to do, is stroll around the streets in the dark.
I mean, it is a good way of finding the particular category of things I tend to want.
If that's the case, then I will carry on with the 4 of them.
What have I done with my charge, or is she still with me?
She's just following you around because she knows it's better. It's not smart for her to try to get away from you.
Okay. Carry on then.
Yeah, you've even established some of a dialogue, but she's still not sold in this whole stop being a highway person and then become a thief idea. But she's following you around, accepting that this is how her day's going to go. So everyone is hanging out in the tavern. So same question for Rook and Zira. It's what do you want to drink, or how do you want to feel, or how much do you want to spend?
Hearing about the Dwarven Ale, Zira's gonna try it too.
Okay, Constitution check.
Fortitude save, or
I'm
just a
sorry,
check?
yeah, that's it. It's a Fortitude save, and get a +2 for being an elf.
Half elf. Do I get
+1
spells?
then.
Oh, that is a 10.
Well, yeah, that's some strong stuff. You could probably have another, but then you'd be done for the night.
Just gonna try another one.
Okay, Constitution save. Fortitude save.
9.
Yeah, and you are absolutely done for the night.
Come
So
on,
anyone-
Winter, give me kisses.
Winter is all about giving the kisses. Anyone who purchased a Dwarven Ale, that is 2 gold.
Okay, so 4 golds.
And then the question is, Mahal, did you buy the Dwarven Ale for Isarel?
Yes.
No was a viable answer, but okay. So you've had 3. Do you want to keep going? Because you could go for a while.
He's going to have 2 more for tonight.
Sounds fair. Then you can feel good. Rook, are you going to do anything here?
I mean, since everybody else is trying Dwarven Ale, might as well have one.
Okay, make that Fortitude save.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, now what is my number for that? Saves, there it is. 19.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes good and all, but what's with this? This is the strongest drink in Aver and stuff.
Now, question.
Yeah.
Does being drunk count as a poison? Or not?
Yes,
Just disease
because
number
monks
two?
eventually cannot get drunk. Or is it paladins, or is it both?
It may be both, but I forgot. It's just disease at this point. Not like I'm not immune to poison. So, moot point.
Okay, yeah, but it is poison. Yeah, thanks, Tristan.
Am I going to have to roll a fortitude save for all my drinking?
No.
Darn, and I have a +8.
That's pretty much why. Is anyone else going to do anything? Rook, are you going to do anything else?
No. I might, well, I'm not going to weapons to tend to, so, yeah, probably nothing else. Like, just make some idle chatter with the rest of the group, waiting for Gaz to come back.
Okay, I'm going to put the game on pause here as everyone's winding down and thinking about getting a room.
And that was 5 silver.
Yeah,
Right.
when we get around to getting rooms, it will be... Wait, Tristan, common accommodations... Wait, this is just descriptions. Common, okay, 5 silver pieces. Yeah, when
5
we
silver.
eventually do rooms, it will be 5 silver pieces per room.
I just included the description because I'd not read that before, and accommodations are apparently getting your own private room is considered good accommodations.
I'm sorry, I needed to step away. I'll be right back.
So are like common accommodations like a nicer like hostel?
So the way the wording that they use in the book for a common accommodation is it is a place on a raised, heated floor, the use of a blanket and a pillow, and the presence of higher class company. So imagine the long feast halls that they like to depict in like Viking style stuff.
Yeah. that
Poor
makes sense.
accommodations would be sleeping on the floor near the hearth in that. Common accommodations would be if they have nooks in the corners or along the side walls where the food doesn't get sprayed on the floor. You'd get to sleep there, and that would be on like a wooden pallet, basically. And then good accommodations would be having your own room with a bed.
How much
Yeah,
are good accommodations?
2 gold per person per night.
Sounds good to me.
But apparently the inn that we're in is common accommodations, which it sounds like the DM is still imagining as rooms, just cheaper rooms.
Yeah, I do it as cheaper rooms, just not, they're smaller. The beds aren't great, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
If you want to sleep downstairs in one of the chairs, then that'll be dirt cheap.
Yep, that's if you want nothing for accommodations, that's 2 silver pieces a night.
So we will put the game on pause there because I wanted to deal with the beginning of next session, Gaz looking for the Thieves Guild.
Yep.
And then also in between games, taking care of Rook's question about enchanted gear. So I will call it here. Thanks everyone for attending, and thanks to the players especially.
Yeah.
And I'll see everyone again. I cannot play next week, so in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time. Thanks, Joseph.
Okay.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.